What this new community leaderboard thing has done, Joe, is it means they get really fucking busy in chat before we even get started.
Yeah.
They want their little 1, 2, 3 crown. That's what they want.
But what's the crowns?
It doesn't mean anything, mate.
But like,
It doesn't mean anything, Joe.
But doesn't it mean they have to give us just more money?
Yeah, each number, the reason to get to 1 is because each number is the number of 100 gifted you've got to give at the end of the stream.
Fair.
So being third sucks. You don't want to give 300.
No.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's a fucking grim day here on the south. It's not very nice.
Got a pen in my pocket stabbing me in the
It's
leg.
supposed to recently have become summer.
No, but it has been really, really hot. After like any period of extended heat, you do get a lot of rain.
Now, we are 5 minutes late. We're 5 minutes late because Joe was late. Joe was late because some selfish fucker on his drive here crashed. Is that right?
I just don't understand why people just don't know how to drive in the wet.
People just know how to drive full stop, mate. Honestly, some of what you see on the road is in this country is... I'm sure it's true in every country, but some of what you see on the road in this country is fucking embarrassing.
It's always like, in the summer, it's like boy races, isn't it? Speeding around. In the winter, it's like every pensioner who's about to lose their license wants to drive in the rain.
Yeah. I've become a serial horn user as well. A serial horn user. I'm so annoyed with people.
I get a strength from seeing how upset people get when driving. I am. So the Salisbury got a massive roundabout in Salisbury. You come from the hospital, and then you got Southampton Road, right? Always super busy.
Yeah.
And it's a single track road, but the one coming from in Salisbury is always super busy. So when I come round, I tend to let a few people through because Southampton Road's always like chock-a-block blocks.
Yeah.
This guy in a Range Rover, 25-plate Range Rover. Bearing in mind, it's only one, overtook me, went onto the curb, and was fucking screaming at me.
Was he?
Yeah. Effing and blind, going mental. And then
The
drove
thing
around.
is...
But he broke the law
To shout at you.
to shout at me for driving, like, properly. Because I couldn't go forward, so I was literally letting people...
Yeah, well, you can't go anywhere,
yeah.
so give them some space to move.
Yeah.
But what makes me laugh is when people can't go anywhere, but they'll creep into that little gap anyway, despite the fact they can't go anywhere, just to block everybody else.
I was like, where's an undercover police car when you want...
To be honest with you as well, Joe, Range Rover drivers are knobheads.
I don't know any good one.
No, neither do I. I will also say, though, since riding a bike, you become slightly more attuned to what people are doing, and some of what you see is fucking mental. I'm a very defensive rider because I don't trust anyone in the car at all, ever. But, you know, hey. So Joe was a bit late because some selfish fucker decided to have a crash in the rain. So he literally got here like 15 minutes ago. So we've had to sort of get the stream ready. Because I was holding off scheduling the stream because I really didn't know if he was going to turn up. And I was like, if he doesn't turn up by 1:30, I'm going to have to phone him and see where he is, make sure he's okay. But obviously...
Would you not phone up before then? Before it was too late?
Well, no, because at that point, I'm not phoning because I care about the stream. I'm phoning because I care about you. That's the difference, mate. If I miss the stream because you're injured, what's more important is you than the stream.
Yeah, but I'd rather you contacted me earlier. You're like, you're running late. Are you okay? Not, you're late now.
No, it's not. It's not like you're late now, are you? Because how often are you late?
Never.
Exactly. So I'm not going to be like, you're late, Joe. This is the fucking 20th time. If you're late, it's because something's happened. So when I'm sat here at 1:15 and you're not here yet, I'm like, something's happened.
Yeah.
So wait and see. And if it gets to the time and you haven't contacted me, I'm starting to get worried that he hasn't messaged me saying that he's running late. Maybe something's happened to him. Then I'm going to phone up and check on you. Be like, are you okay? That's the first thing. Are you okay? I'm a nice person. You brighten my week, Joe.
As I should.
Yeah. I look forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays
I look forward
because it's with you.
Yeah.
There you go. I've done my Be Nice bit this week. Right. Talking about being nice, but this is a topic that I think is probably one Joe can talk about quite a lot, actually. And because we were running a bit late and I didn't know where he was, I wanted to be a super easy one to jump into. We've done a lot of rules talking and stuff like that lately. We've done lots of codex looking, etc. We do know that there is a new codex going up on pre-order on Saturday. We do know it, chat, as you can probably assume, because we know it's going up on pre-order on Saturday. We do have it. What we can't do at this point, obviously, is talk about it. So what we'll do is we'll talk about something different and interesting. And... I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about this yesterday for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. But obviously Warhammer 40k is a sci-fi setting. Actually, I didn't put. I don't know if I put Warhammer. Did I put 40k specifically? I might just put Warhammer because I want to include Horus Heresy, and it was the Horus Heresy specifically that I was thinking about yesterday because they dropped. I think it's because they dropped an article that shows us what all these extra stats do now.
I didn't read it, but yeah.
No, I haven't read it, but apparently it shows us what all these extra stats do now, and I need to give it a read at some point.
It bugs me that they put 2 letters now, though.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Don't need 2 letters.
No, maybe. But I was thinking when I was looking at them going a little bit more granular with kind of rules for heresy to make it more representative, and I thought to myself, is 40k stroke heresy Warhammer in the sci-fi world, 30k, 40k, is it the best sci-fi fiction in existence? And I think the thing is, when you look at sci-fi, specifically sort of futuristic sci-fi, there is so much.
Yeah.
Because you've got Aliens, you've got Terminator, you've got Dune, you've got Star Wars, one of the most popular, Stargate, fucking Star Trek, Star, etc. There's so many. There's loads of them. I'm sure there's loads of them. If we focus on the kind of main ones, I've probably just mentioned most of them. There's probably some I'm missing. We go into the video game world. There's even more sci-fi. You've got things like Fallout. And games like that.
Or Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, great one. What's the one that you love on Xbox? Halo. And I think that there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of sci-fi, and I personally think that Warhammer just has the best.
Well, it depends on if you're saying is the best as in it's the most written about, has the most expansive, or the best is in terms of the one you'd want to live in.
No, so I don't think the best means you want to live in it necessarily.
Because you don't want to live in the.
For me, the
40K.
best is one that is the most engaging, the largest amount of depth to it, the multiple layered system. So with Warhammer 40k, it's so vast. There's so many authors writing so much detail about it that it's I think of Tolkien and I think of Lord of the Rings, and I think when he wrote Lord of the Rings, he'd already written his languages, he'd written the setting, he built everything out, and then wrote the story in the universe.
Yeah.
40k sort of feels like that, or 30k, 40k sort of feels like that. Yeah. I think it feels like everything exists, and yes, we know Games Workshop can retcon things and change things, but it is the most expansive amount of lore around a specific setting.
Because the computer games tend to happen over small places, but there's so many books happening in so many places, and the expansion of all the armies have their own. But it just grows and grows. It's like a giant spider graph, isn't it, of just stuff. Really, whereas you compare it to Halo, they only really work in singular places in one universe.
Well, this is the other thing as well, isn't it? Because you have Games Workshops produce documents, so you have things like codexes, and you have articles that they write, and they do some of their own narrative as well. And then it goes out to Black Library authors, and they do their thing, and that's quite big and expansive. Then you add in things like game devs for the people that made Space Marine 2, etc., which adds extra layers of narrative and lore.
Yeah.
And you think of original Dawn of War with Blood Ravens that added extra. So you've got multiple people writing multiple bits of lore around a singular universe, and Games Workshop is normally pretty good at taking the thing that the author like Dan Abnett has written, or the thing that the game like Space Marine 2 has written, and then they're just including it in canon and going, this is true lore now. And I think because of that, it's incredible. What I am interested in is we know that Amazon are working on television-based content.
It's either a film or a series. We don't know yet. It's the bit of wood I kicked off the other day.
Yeah. So it's gonna get slightly more mainstream, if you want to call it that. Do you think that's a concern for the narrative setting?
No.
Why?
Because the next Dan Abnett book in the Beckwin series, because it's so universe changing, they can't release it now. They have to wait until after the Amazon series because it changes, has some continuity problem. Because if this Amazon series comes out afterwards, you're technically watching a historical event.
Okay.
In the universe.
The reason why I suggest this is because it's been documented that the popularity of Star Wars, and then now being owned by Disney, has potentially in some aspects ruined the lore of it in places.
Well,
because sometimes they've made films for the sake of making films.
Yeah, but I think the problem that Star Wars has, and I will die on this hill, is that everything happens in Mos Eisley. right? Tatooine is literally the centre of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Right? And stuff happens around it, but everyone has to go back to Mos Eisley for reasons. It's like fleet services, you know? I loved Star Wars. I love Star Wars loads. We've actually penciled in not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I'm going to sit at home and we're all going to watch all 6 Star Wars films.
The day before Father's Day?
Yeah.
What marathon are you doing for Father's Day?
Nothing. I've got to go sit in a bloody church, listen to children sing.
Ugh. On Father's Day?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Otherwise, I'm not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do... the perfect Father's Day is when no one talks to me.
No
one interacts with me, and I do what I do every day. Paint models and play Warhammer.
Lou said to me the
That's
other
Father's
day,
Day.
she said, "What do you want to do Father's Day?" I was like, I don't really know. I haven't really thought about it. She's like, "Okay." And then she came to me like a couple of days later. She was like, "So for Father's Day, do you want to go to Beaulieu Motor Museum? Because I fucking love the Motor Museum, Jay. I love Motor Museum. I love cars and bikes."
Why do you go? Have you been to the Haynes Motor Museum?
No, where's that?
It's literally just outside Yeovil.
Is it?
It's literally like 20 minutes from my house.
She said, "Do you want to go?" I was like, "No." And she said, "Oh, really? Why not?" I was like, "Because, Luce, because when we all go to Beaulieu, do you know what happens?" And she's like, "What?" I was like, "You and the kids come."
Yeah.
And that's not what I would call like keeping an eye on the kids and having them running around the museum where I can't stop and read anything because they're off, run, don't care about this, going to go in the play area, isn't what I would consider a relaxing day.
There's no play area at Haynes Motor Museum.
No.
It is really good. I don't really care a vast amount about cars, but I enjoyed it when I went.
So I love cars,
Yeah.
so I probably would
It's got
enjoy
a great
it.
World War II section.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
It's like the Tank Museum as well. Like
Yeah.
the Tank Museum is another place I love to go to.
Yeah.
But you know why I love to go there? Is when I don't have my children because I can read all the plaques.
Yeah.
And I am, when I go to like a museum like that, I am a serial plaque reader. I want to read everything all the time. All the time, despite the fact that it might not even be interesting. I'm reading it all.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking in a museum, I'm going to read it all. So she was like, "So what do you want to do instead then?" And I was like, "Nothing. How about I pick the things we eat all day and you just make me food and I just get to do whatever the fuck I want." She's like, "Okay." I was like...
Yeah,
that's my idea of a good
it's
Father's
a difference, though, isn't it? I suppose for like different, because I feel like some parents, like, I don't want to get in trouble here, but I feel like Mother's Day is more of a celebration of mothers. You know, let's go out and celebrate our mums. Whereas dads, like, leave me alone. It's like, I want to go and watch my autistic dad World War II film and be left alone.
Answers on postcards, your favourite way to spend a Father's Day.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, cool.
But
back on the topic.
Yeah, so I think like since Star Wars has gone to Disney, it has produced the best TV series, I think. Well, there wasn't really TV series before, because like The Mandalorian was brilliant. I think the less
it's on my to watch list.
the
I've been
less
told it's
Jedi,
great.
the better. I find.
I fucking love Jedis. Do you know what I'd really like, actually? I'd really like a series like The Mandalorian that follows a brand new, like, indoctrinated Sith. Because I like the bad guys as well.
There was talk of them doing an Anakin series.
I almost don't want it to be a mainstream character, though.
Well, the problem is Star Wars is very much like Warhammer. It's all based around one dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
And I think... So The Mandalorian introduced us to one of the best characters ever. I want to say is it something that...
Bojangles?
No. He was... That chat will know. He's basically a cowboy sheriff outside Mos Eisley, right? He basically found Boba Fett's armour and then has to give the armour back. But he's just cool. It's just cowboy time in the desert.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think it just appeases my need to watch cowboy and Indian.
I've heard incredible things about.
It's really, really good.
Mandalorian.
Season 2 is incredible. There's a great episode with Bill, not Bill Murray, Bill, a comedian, but he's like a really Cobb. Cad Bane? No, Cad Bane is the bounty hunter. I think it's Cobb Van Arth is the guy. But there's a really good episode where they've got ex stormtrooper has to go and pretend to be a stormtrooper to get into a base, and it's a very very good one. But outside of that, I tried to watch what's the new? It's got the second series coming out now.
Andor.
Bilmer, thank you. I tried to watch the first series of Andor and I got bored.
I've heard good things about that as well.
Apparently, it is really really good. But I feel like I've got Star Wars fatigue now.
Interesting. Do you think that's a thing that could be... So, considering it's your job as well, that hasn't seemed to happen with 40k. You don't get 40k. Do you get 40k narrative fatigue, lore fatigue?
So, I think no, because the difference is that Star Wars exists only in a few computer games and whatever Disney now serves you, right? What you're given.
And Legion and Shatterpoint.
A few tabletop games, but I've got no one to play the tabletop games with.
Fair, okay, yeah, fair.
Whereas Warhammer, I find I can go, I'm not really in the mood for, like, Space Marines today. I can paint something else. Or I don't want to listen to a Black Library book about AdMech. I could listen to one about Eldar.
So do you think that's part of what is the charm about Warhammer in general, is the fact that they have so much fleshed out narrative for not the main characters?
Yeah, so like
is there such a thing as main characters in Warhammer? You would argue that the Imperium and Space Marines are sort of the main characters, but are they? When you look at the expansiveness of Eldar and the range of the narrative around those, or Dark Eldar, or Tyranids, or Orcs, like there's tons of Orc narrative.
I think the main characters are only the main characters in series novels, I think.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, if you're really like the Tanith books, and obviously that's got very specific main characters in that, and then obviously there's other side characters coming, but you've got a main narrative. But if you get tired of listening to stories about Guard, you can listen to ones about an Inquisitor, or you can listen to Space Marines fight Tyranids or Orcs. So it's like, whereas in Star Wars universe, it's all humans fighting the same war in the same way. Like the Empire's taken over everything, and it's just rebels versus Empire.
It's humans versus humans, essentially, isn't it?
Obviously, there's droids and there's a few aliens in there and stuff, but it's a bit meh.
But for the most part, it is humans versus humans.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think a lot of sci-fi lacks variety. Not all of it, and I'm sure people will shout me for loads and loads of different versions. But it's humans versus something. And part of what I love about Warhammer is you can be in a situation where it's orcs versus elves in space, which I think is really, really good. I think, someone put the comment in chat earlier, I don't remember who it was really, really early on in chat, about how the thing is with Warhammer is Games Workshop themselves have essentially bastardized sci-fi from everywhere else. Like, I know there's heavy influences from Dune and others, and things like Aliens and what have you. And people say, of course, it seems like it's the best because they bastardise from everybody else's. But I'm like, is that not a sign or a stroke of genius? Take all the good bits from everything else and put it together in one.
So I saw a great meme this weekend, right? There's a new Doctor Who, new Doctor, it's Billy Piper. It's now finally an excuse for me to watch Doctor Who. I fucking love Billy Piper, but she's already been
old now.
But she's already been in it. She was a doctor's assistant, and then she was like a baddie.
Wasn't she Tennant's assistant?
Yeah. So I watched it then, gave up afterwards. So, like, but she's back then, and the response was like a thing. Is like, people don't want anything new; they want the same thing they've watched 1,000 times already. And I think, like, but that's also true of like why Warhammer is really successful. Because it is Starship Troopers, it is Aliens, it is Terminator, it is
Dune,
it is the Star Wars aspect. It's historic. It's like historical parts of Earth. Like it's like World War I, World War II battles. They've just taken all the things from everywhere. They won't say they have, but they have, and you can just live out your favourite things from what you've seen. Yeah,
I think it also means it does quite well of appealing to a wider kind of audience.
Yeah.
The one thing I have been slightly concerned about is I get slightly concerned that the depth and expansiveness of the lore and the universe could be off-putting to new people diving into it for the first time.
Yeah, I think what I did was, I think when you approach the hobby, everyone gets into the hobby because of the models and the Games Workshop stores,
Yeah.
and then the lore comes afterwards.
For the most part, yeah.
So the general progression is go and find out about the hobby, get the models for the army you like, find the books for the armies that you play, and then if you see an interesting bad guy in those books, you tend to lean into that arc kind of thing. So, for instance, say you really like Space Wolves.
Yeah, I do.
Right?
How did you know?
Really like Space Wolves, right? So you go, I bought this Ragnar model,
Yeah.
right? Ragnar's got books about him. So you naturally go, I really like Ragnar, I'll listen to his books. And then you go, well, these orc guys are funny. What are the orcs doing? And then you might go and look at like the Gazgol books. Or you go, there's Tyranids in one of the Ragnar ones, isn't there?
I don't know. I haven't read them yet.
I think there's Tyranids in one of them. I don't know. But you go, you read another Space Wolves book, and that's got Tyranids in it. So you go, I like Tyranids. What do they do? So you go and find books that might not necessarily be about Tyranids. The only Tyranid book I could find really quickly was one about the devastation of Baal. You go, oh, these Blood Angels guys are cool. And you kind of expand out in that direction. It's like how I approached the Horus Heresy. I listened to all the books up to Legion. And then I picked a Legion and then listened to all the books about them. So
Okay.
I really liked. So I really liked the Alpha Legion after listening to Legion. So I found every book that had Alpha Legion in it, and I listened to that. And then I was like, I like Dark Angels, so I listened to all the ones about Dark Angels.
So talk about Space Marine chapters and Legions as well. Do you also think that part of the success, because I've been thinking about this quite a lot. So you talked about Space Wolves, and I said I really fucking like Space Wolves. And the reason why I really fucking like Space Wolves is because I really fucking like Vikings, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge thing that I love. And you guys probably with the channel, the iconography, the studio, can tell that already. And I actually think it's a stroke of genius that the Legions, for the most part, or a lot of them, are at least based on certain periods of historical time.
Yeah.
Because you can see influence across multiple legions from historical time periods. And so some people really like Vikings and some people don't. And some people really like the Romans, and therefore they're really into Ultramarines. You know? And I actually think that's fucking genius. And if you take what you said about how, and I think you're right, if you take what you said about how people can see all of their other favourite sci-fis in this one universe, and you then layer in that as well, where you go to time period references in Legions, you just go, here's how we make a cool, unique sci-fi space that actually kind of appeals to a hugely wide audience. Like I said, my only concern is it's so huge, wide and vast that it might put new people off who go, whoa, there's too much.
Yeah. But I think like Games Workshop can do more with it though.
Yeah.
So one of my favourite computer game series is Mass Effect. I know everyone's very excited about Mass Effect. But I'm very scared about the new one after Veilguard. It's a different problem.
I don't know Mass Effect, so you're talking...
So Mass Effect
Sorry.
basically is... there was a big kind of... Humanity's found other races.
Yeah.
And then they've created a council. We've all got along. And they built a place called the Citadel. It's like a massive space station. And everyone lives on it, and everyone's super happy. And then obviously they've found, as the human race has expanded, they found new planets and they found technology for older races and stuff. And then what basically turns out is that those older races come every 10,000 years and cleanse the galaxy. They just reset everything, consume everything. So they're like a really weird mix between Necrons and Tyranids.
Okay.
And they come along and basically your character, Shepard, his job is to essentially stop it, because it's one of the typical thing is like, this bad thing's happening, I've discovered this bad thing, and the council's like, nah bruh, we don't believe you. And he's like, has to go and stop it. But you literally they did the best in the second one is you have to go around the galaxy doing it. So you have a galaxy map and you have a little spaceship you control, and you fly to places. And then you go and land there, and then you do stuff.
Oh, is it all game?
Yeah.
Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew it was a game, but...
It is a game. So and it's in-depth. So it'd work best as, like, an Inquisitor-based game. So you'd go around as Inquisitor, and then you could tech into because they have like bios. I can't remember the thing, but they have basically a thing where you can change parts of your body to have powers and things. So it'd work really well as an Inquisitor because you could change your stats and stuff and fly around the galaxy fighting crime. And then you can learn about different parts of the universe as you fly around, and it has all the races. I'm like, why hasn't Games Workshop done that yet? Instead of making 47,000 shit mobile phone games.
Oh, don't. That games thing we watched the other week.
So I have a theory,
Fucking
which
hell.
was fleshed out by someone else I spoke to, was that the success of Space Marine 2 means that we will get more better games, but it takes like 3 to 4 years
of course.
to produce a good... But the problem is that I feel like part of the contract for this Goals thing is that, well, we'll push your game every year.
Well, the Skulls event was just shit.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing. There is a little part of me that, like, if I'm going to sidetrack for a brief moment, there is a little part of me that's got to a point where I'm like, I actually don't know if I want good Warhammer video games.
Yeah.
Because I have great Warhammer, each to their own, of course. I have great Warhammer lore, and I've started to get back into dangerous. I know. I've started to actually get back into reading physical books, Joe. Yeah. I've got into putting my phone down, ignoring it, putting it on Do Not Disturb, picking up an actual book and sitting there and reading it. And I've never been into that. And I've just bought a Space Wolves omnibus that's just turned up. It's about that thick, this thing. And I can't wait to dive into it. I might start it tomorrow. So I've got great Warhammer lore.
Yeah.
I've got an incredible Warhammer hobby that I can sit there and I can build and paint and I can lose hours to it. And really enjoy it. I've got a great Warhammer tabletop game. At the moment, for me, 40k is arguably... I was thinking about this the other day. This is a hell of a sidetrack to go on. I was thinking about this the other day. This is going to be controversial for some people. I actually think this is now currently my favourite 40k version ever.
What, 10th edition?
Right now with the current mission deck.
Yeah? Yeah? I think, like, in terms of playing it, I think probably. But, like, I think the problem is how do you get over nostalgia? Because it's also good time. It's like when I think about original GoldenEye. My head feels in the graphics.
So absolutely. Yeah. I've had that sort of experience recently as well.
Yeah.
Although there are a couple of exceptions to the rule, which I'll go into in just a moment. But I think you're right. Like, I think I always go 7th edition was my favourite. 7th edition was my favourite, and I'm very excited about New Heresy because it's kind of a little bit even more in depth and granular. But as I pick up and play a game and I go to a table and just roll some dice and go to a tournament and just enjoy yourself, where you haven't got to worry about all these extra statistics, etc. 40k is an incredible game right now. And I'm like, when was the last time I had a terrible experience playing 40k? The last time I had a terrible experience playing 40k, if we could call it terrible, was going to Mikey's event, only because I didn't take a functional list.
No.
And even then, I played 3 nice people. I had a great time with those people. I just couldn't score fucking points or win a game.
Yeah.
And I came away and was like, I need to change the way I approach playing the game. I did that. I now think I'm having tons of fun.
I think 10th edition is the best if you play it the way that they want you to play it.
Yeah.
Right. If you
That's fair.
If you fight against it and go, I want to play it the way I want to play it, then it's where it gets a bit sticky. But if you play it the way that they go, this is how you build your list. This is the way the army now functions. You know, well, I remember Chaos Space Marines of old, and that's how I want to play it. Well, that's not how Chaos Space Marines are now.
Yeah.
If you want Chaos Space Marines to function, you have to do them like this.
Mikey's event doesn't seem to drain you. It did, Ash, but it also revitalised me at the same time because I came away and changed my approach and realised that being a grumpy bastard who goes, this isn't my 40k, isn't actually going to get me ever enjoying 40k. Yeah. And changing my approach has meant I've just I had 2 games on. When was the last time I played 2 games on stream in a week? I just don't. Yeah. Played 2 games last week with Wolves. Thoroughly enjoyed both of those games. Really enjoyed them. Yeah. Was a bit sorry for you and your Emperor's Children, I'll be honest.
They are dog shit.
But in terms of actually the game mechanics, the way it works now, the catch-up cards, I can't remember what they're called, challenge cards, whatever, the twists, I think it's fucking brilliant at the moment. Although, and I do think I was clinging on to 7th and the old version that I played the most of straight away, like when I was in my earlier days of Warhammer. I think it is a bit of a nostalgia hit. I think you're right. Getting over nostalgia is a hard thing to do, and you always remember it being better than it was when you played it.
Yeah.
That being said, what I did do yesterday, Jay, is I played Battlefield 1 on stream.
Yeah. I noticed I didn't get an invite.
Oh, you've got a computer now, haven't you? I forgot you could play it now because I was like, well, it's not crossplay. Yeah, but Jay, you rely on your Xbox. Well, get Battlefield 1 installed. Have you got it?
I don't know.
I'll buy you Battlefield 1 to play with me on computer. 100%.
I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring Night Rain at the moment.
Well,
Josh bought it for me.
I reinstalled over the weekend Battlefield 1 and I played it yesterday and I had an issue getting it to work and it worked after half an hour of me trying to get it to work on live on stream. I then played it for like 3 hours straight and honestly I could have kept playing. It is the nostalgia. Those moments where I sat there playing that game with fucking goosebumps. It's so good.
It does look very nice, doesn't it?
For a game that, consider it came out in 2016, for a game that came out in 2016, the graphics are still quite good. They're not as good as some of the more recent games, of course, because there's 9 years of development and different graphics card, etc. But the way in which the game plays, the atmospherics, the vibe, the audio, it's unreal. It's so good.
What's interesting, right, is how... Talking about Night Rain, actually, is that how something can be good with zero backstory.
Okay.
So I'm playing Elden Ring. I don't have a fucking clue what's going on. Never played Elden Ring before. Josh bought it for me because he wanted someone to play with. So I was like, cool, I'll play it. And I was like, what's the story? He's like, there isn't really one. You're just there fighting night monsters. Beautiful game. Everything's wonderful. They're like, kill the big baddies. I'm like, that's enough story for me to kind of grasp it. But I was like, this universe is really, really cool. What's in it? What's happening? And he's like, meh. I'm like, that's mental. That they've produced all out of this out of some kind of weird fever dream. It means nothing.
Games like Elden Ring, for me personally, I kind of struggle with them.
It's a game that's hard on purpose.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not good at hard games.
And it gives you zero information on what anything is. So you just kind of have to figure it out. You know, there's a tutorial on how to play the game, as in how to physically use the buttons and do things. And then they go, here is this world, you're in it now. Figure it out.
I'm okay with that. It's the being hard part.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so I've had this interesting journey of having played for about 6 to 10 hours of like playing, and I'm at a point now where I'm good enough that we finally beat the first final boss in the first one, because we've just been annihilated every single time. But I've now got to level. But what I've had to do is play the game lots and then watch a lot of YouTube videos on how the fuck anything functions. But so it's interesting to go into that as a new player in terms of like going into the world of Warhammer. So like it's like how you arrive somewhere and the natural progression. But I think it's also down to the person that goes into it as well, because like no offense to you, Liam, in any way, but you're very much one of those people of, if you don't get instant gratification from being good at the game, it's shit.
No, that's not entirely
true. That's
true.
My experience. If you play a game, it's like, I can't do it, it's shit, I don't like it.
That's not entirely true.
Yeah.
So yes, that's partly true.
Yeah.
I'll concede it's partly true.
Yeah.
It depends entirely on how the game does it. So there's a couple of games where it doesn't want you to be a master of it straight away. So for me, Assassin's Creed is a game that does this quite well.
Yeah.
So when I start, I'm cumbersome and I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be pressing, and I don't learn buttons quickly, and I don't learn combinations fast. And Assassin's Creed kind of gently eases you into it and adds your skill tree and levels up. And then some other games, you're like, swarm straight away, dead. Like, what do I learn from that? I don't learn anything from it. And then I get pissy with it immediately.
Yeah. And it's like...
but yeah, so it is
what was
partly
that
true.
Game made by Bethesda that came out like last year? Starfield, right? And you played it a bit and you liked it, and then you kind of gave up on it, and a couple of people said, it's really good after about 40 hours. And I was like, no game should be good after having to have essentially put like 3 working days.
If you look at
3 full days.
If you look
into
at my average playtime for big games, I'm not a huge gamer comparatively with other people. My average playtime for big games that I really enjoy is somewhere in the region of between 50 to 80 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I do, right? And for me, that's a lot. So if a game takes me 40 hours to before I get to the good part, well, that's more than half my average playtime.
What do you think that's an entire working week?
Yeah, that's more than half my average playtime of a game's life. So for me, I'm like, that's too long.
Yeah.
I don't mind it easing me into it. That's fine. I prefer it to ease me into it. I don't want to do it for 40 fucking hours. If you were to ease me into it for 5 hours, 6 hours, I'm comfortable with that.
So I put that 40 hours in.
Did you?
Right. It was still boring and shit after that.
Well, the thing is, I didn't put that 40 hours in. So the game, in principle, as advertised, was something I was hyper excited about. And I was really into.
It wasn't.
On delivery, as a PC player, on delivery was fucked, and I couldn't play it. Much like Cyberpunk, I got so excited for Cyberpunk 2077, so excited for it because it sounded phenomenal. It's like essentially futuristic GTA, right? I'm in, and I had the best. I don't want to be a dickhead here, but when it launched, I had the best system you could buy, basically.
Yeah.
Graphics cards, RAM, fucking motherboard, memory, except the whole lot, everything, processor, right? Absolute spaceship that I had at the time. I benchmarked it. It classified it as a UFO. It was the top spec PC I could build, and Cyberpunk didn't work on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so after a month of it not working, and you've spent 70, 80 quid on a game, I'm like, fuck this, I'm not interested anymore. Because it should just be working. And I get so annoyed at a game up, like, there's a huge risk at the moment we just drop in Call of Duty because of the Season 4 update. Have you tried playing it? It's very broken.
I watch other people play it, and they're like, meh. Which really annoyed me because I jumped on the other day, got Battle Pass because I had the coins for it, and then played a couple of rounds. I was like, this is not fun anymore.
I couldn't play because of things like server lag and dropout. It was fuck it, honestly.
The problem is with Call of Duty is sometimes a problem that we have in the Warhammer community.
Okay.
Right, is that sometimes the game's really good. It's the players that make it bad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true of any online game, I think.
Yeah, and I think like 40k, you can have great experiences and have fun. But sometimes you just have really bad games with really bad people.
Yeah.
And that sometimes puts people off the hook. Like if you play in a bad like club, you're like GTA Online was that for me until they fixed it with private servers. Yeah.
Because GTA Online in concept is phenomenal. And then in practice, it's full of knobheads who want to just their idea of fun is ruining everybody else's time.
Yeah. It's making sure everyone else is like, it's just bullying, isn't it? Really?
Essentially, online, in essence, yeah. So I've still got Cyberpunk 2077. I don't think if it's installed at the moment, but I may revisit that at some point on stream, actually, if people... Because the amount of people that have said to me now it's really fucking good. Although I think you have to get past the character building before you do it on stream, otherwise it's just this big floppy fucking cock waving around.
I'd like to see you try and play Night Rain.
Who?
Night Rain. The new
Elden Ring? It doesn't appeal to me.
It's like a weird... It's like Call of Duty, but it's not a battle royale. The new versions, unlike all the other ones, where you fly your big ethereal bird, much like the Fortnite glider, onto a massive island, and you have to fight monsters and bosses and normal minion type people, and then you get slowly pushed into the middle by this big shadowy gas field, and then once it gets to the middle you have to fight a big boss, and then the next day it's fun, but it's so hard.
I'm gonna throw something out there about video games right now. I'm getting a bit tired of battle royale style games. I think one of the reasons why I loved and bummed DMZ so hard is because it was like, here's a battle royale concept, we're going to flip it on its head and do something different and innovate. And I think if they bring back DMZ and they do a good job, it could be... Yeah, it's my Discord server going, I'm sorry.
Raiders actually, isn't it?
It could be... I don't really... The thing is with it, almost every other extraction shooter that I've seen, on the most part, is it's a lot more simulation. COD with DMZ got that perfect balance, I think, between simulation and arcade. And that's what I want to see back again. And that's the kind of gamer I am as well. I don't want, like, I was playing Battlefield 1 yesterday and I was praising like I said, the atmospherics and the ambience and the vibes, and we were fighting through this city and there's fucking bits of rubble going and mortars coming in, and it's just incredible. And someone said, have you not played Armour? I'm like, it's too much realism for me. I don't want to go down that level of detail. I don't want to spend ages walking and hiking across a map to then get shot in the face once and be dead.
It's too realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I look at some of the extraction shooters like Tarkov, and I'm like, I don't want to spend 4 hours looting to walk around the corner and be shot in the face and that's everything done. No. What waste of time? That's not how that works for me. But Battle Royales have obviously, they basically erupted because of games like Fortnite. They've been incredibly popular. And now everyone's because Battlefield 6 is in the works, and I was always historically a Battlefield over Call of Duty player. Historically, I only really came back to Call of Duty because of you and DMZ. Literally the only reason why, because it was one of the ones we could play crossplay. Because Battlefield 2042 was balked, and Battlefield 6. Everyone's like, please have a good multiplayer and please have a good battle royale. I'm like, I couldn't care about the battle royale. Give me something like Battlefield 1 Operations, and I'll be fucking happy.
Well, they have to appease everyone, don't they?
Yeah, and I'm fine with them having it, but if they're like, here's the mode you can play, it is just Battle Royale, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because let's face it, Call of Duty multiplayer is a mess.
Yeah.
A hot mess. Sorry, my Discord server for some reason started going off and coming through the screen, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. Odd. I have to. Something's changed on the settings, and I have to fucking turn it off again. I don't know. But yeah, I would also like to see a Battlefield version. This is never a collaboration that's ever going to happen. But the one time I think I'd be okay with video games at Warhammer is if Battlefield and DICE Studios collaborated and made Battlefield Warhammer.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking insane.
Like a big map mode. But
yeah.
I think you'd have to change it from Space Marines to go. You'd have to have it more like Battlefront, I think, where everyone's a guardsman and then you can every once in a while have Space Marines involved.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be fucking cool.
It would be better. And I suppose you could have Tyranids and Orcs and... Well, you'd have everyone in it, to be honest.
Yeah. There's got to be a way you can do it. But...
Yeah, I think there would be a way of doing it, but it's whether Games Workshop is willing to invest in stuff, because realistically, Space Marine 2 is Games Workshop's first major successful computer game. Obviously, things like Total War have done very, very well, but that's a niche within a niche within a niche. Real-time strategy games of that scale are not making vast amounts of money.
I still think, for the most part, the fact that it's Space Marines and there's so many Warhammer players has carried the game, for the most part.
Yeah.
Because it's just... and they've done... And I need to give credit to the studios that made it, because... The graphics, the look, the feel, the atmosphere, the ambience, the vibe, they nailed all of that.
Well, they nailed it. The universe was so good that Lord had... I won't apologise to Dawn of War, because Dawn of War was not really successful. Anyway, so Space Marine 2 was so successful, you had the biggest YouTubers, game streamers playing it.
Yes, for a week or two.
For a week or two, so they did it, but that because and then they have to go back to Call of Duty. Or
for the most part, it was
most of them did 1 or 2 streams.
A few games, a few days.
But a lot of people, but it's the case of all streamers at the moment are stuck in this weird hell where they have to play Call of Duty to keep the numbers relevant.
It's weird, isn't it? Why do you think... We're well off topic now. Sorry, chat. If you want to bring us back on topic, that's what postcards are for. But why do you think that is? I find that really interesting, because I'm part of the problem here. If I often see one of our favourite streamers playing a game that's not COD, I'll put it on, and more often than not, I'm like, bored of watching this. Not really interested. I'll turn it off again.
Call of Duty is got to a level where it's a competitive sport.
But
kind of viewing,
it's also fucked.
Yeah, but it's still like, you're a Southampton fan, right? Southampton is Call of Duty Season 4.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
I like that Dan says, by the way, Space Marine 2 still has millions and millions of players, factually incorrect, who don't care that Space Marine is coded to not walk over a rock. Yeah, if you're going to throw that out there, probably, I think Space Marine's all-time highest player count was like 200,000 or something. So not millions
Well,
and
Space
millions.
Marine 2 has sold like 7 or 8 million copies.
Yeah.
But 7 or 8 million people aren't playing it all at the same time.
No.
But like people said, like being a good game does not necessarily make it successful. Because someone said Dawn of War 3 was not successful, but
selling a lot of
1 and 2 were great.
Is selling a lot of copies making it successful?
Yeah, I think.
Is it?
I think the thing is though, to be successful in the gaming industry's eyes, it has to make a certain amount of money.
So Black Ops 6,
Yeah,
current COD,
yeah,
which is in an absolute dogshit state,
yeah,
wildly successful
yeah,
for sales.
yeah.
So it's a successful game.
It's a successful game because it's made money, and that's why.
I mean, yeah, if you go down that very, very
that's
basic
why
linear.
they're making another one. That's why they make one every year, because we as gamers are conditioned to
Get the latest one.
get the latest one in the hope that it's better than the last one.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I'll talk about it. I talked to Luce about this yesterday.
So Modern Warfare 3 was quite possibly the worst Call of Duty game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Right? So Black Ops 6 was when it was advertised, I was so excited for it. It was really good. The campaign for Black Ops 6, by the way, banging. If you've got a Game Pass, just do it for the campaign. But the multiplayer, awful. But we bought it because we were sold something that was better than the last one. And then every Call of Duty goes through the same cycle. It's the best it's ever
But at
been.
what point?
It's okay.
But
It's
at what
terrible.
point do people? At what point do people go? That we've had 4 games now that aren't as good as the last one and have got worse, and we go, stop.
Because
packing in.
Call of Duty has the best gaming engine. In terms of smoothness of play and gunfighting and controls, it's the best. Because every other computer game that's a first-person shooter that comes out has to come out with a different,
But surely,
movement. And
But surely
shooting.
the people that make COD and the people that care about the money and people care about the revenue. So for the most part, whilst the game continues to sell and sell and sell and sell and sell, you could consider that a success, right? You could consider it a success.
Yeah.
And of course, in the very basic of metrics, it's sold loads, it's made money, ergo success.
It's in the shittest version. In the new season, right? It's it's not unplayable, right?
Correct.
People are still buying Battle Pass, and people are still buying those god awful skins.
But surely someone somewhere has got to have an eye on the feedback, the noise around it. What noise? People. Surely someone's going. At some point, we're going to lose our good grace that people have given us, and they're going to go, nah, not next time. Because I'm looking at the next Call of Duty, and I'm going, I'm not interested.
The problem is, right? Nothing's come out to beat it. No game has come out to be more successful than Call of Duty at the moment. Right, you've got Fortnite, which is historically done. Like the best-selling game of all time is Minecraft, because the children yearn for the mines, right? But for adults, you've got Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, but Call of Duty just stands on the top.
I don't know if I would call Space Marine 2. While I think Helldivers 2.
Out of all computer games that have ever been released for Warhammer,
So I agree with you there.
Space Marine 2 is the most successful.
Yeah, no, facts.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best one they've done.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I still think Helldivers 2 was a better Space Marine game versus Tyranids than Space Marine 2 was.
Yeah, but I can't. I was playing the shit out of Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I know you were.
I did it, but when Space Marine 2 came out, played it, I tried to go back to Helldivers, and I couldn't. I was like,
Why?
this game is just not as enjoyable.
Do you not think it's better than Space Marine 2
No.
in terms of the actual gameplay?
No.
I think if you took...
I find Helldivers boring.
I
compared to
find
Space Marine.
so I find Space Marine 2 boring.
Yeah.
But I think if you took Space Marine 2's skins, both visually and you took its audio kind of development, and you put that on Helldivers, you skinned Helldivers with Space Marine 2, I think that's a better version of both games.
Well, they're two very different things. It's like I tried playing Warhammer Total War.
Yeah.
I got bored playing that. It's so slow.
I struggle with it. I do struggle with
I
it.
tried to, and I love Old World, and I was like, I'm a bit bored.
Yeah.
But then I liked Dawn of War. I absolutely loved
Yeah.
because it's a bit faster.
Yep.
I think
The balance between like Arcadian realism, right?
yeah, like you get all the stuff you need. I'm surprised they're having a remake of like Fire Warrior. Games Workshop just pretend that Fire Warrior didn't exist. That did not succeed. That was not a good game. Well, it was a great game, but it just didn't succeed. But it's one of those things where like being good doesn't make it successful. Because like Dawn of
But
War
also being
was
successful doesn't necessarily make it good, though, right?
Yeah.
To the reverse of what you're saying. So Space Marine 2 can be classed as successful, doesn't make it good. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, I think good
and
is
if you're
subjective,
saying
isn't it?
if you're saying you can be good and not successful, and I agree with you,
Yeah.
you can have good games that aren't that successful. I fully agree with that at all. But you can also have the complete opposite. You can have a successful game that isn't good. Call of Duty. So if we're proving with Call of Duty specifically that being successful doesn't mean good, and
Yeah.
it's been successful for sales, then it could be argued that Space Marine 2 is wildly successful. That doesn't make it a good game.
Yeah, that's true. But good,
Good is also subjective.
well, the thing is though, good is subjective. Like I love Space Marine 2 is like one of my favorite games of all time.
We have. I would suggest that Space Marine 2 is probably in the perfect place. And the reason why I say that, we have two people sat here. One person who absolutely adores it and plays it at every given opportunity. And one person who played the full campaign and thought it was great and then uninstalled it and hasn't thought about playing it since.
If my Xbox apps will tell me how long I played.
So I haven't played it. So I think it's a bit dull and a bit boring and I don't really enjoy it. Which means if it's got one person who's on one extreme and one person who's on the other extreme, it's probably about where it should be.
Yeah, I think
If I look at it objectively.
the biggest problem that Space Marine 2 has is that they didn't think it was going to be as successful as it was, so its content schedule was quite slow.
I don't think it had a lot for its starting price either.
Yeah, but then the thing is though, because it was as successful as it did, they've really ramped up what you get. So we're getting a lot, but it's quite spread out. But what they've done is, I think, what they've been really clever is they've really, like Fallout, they've really embraced the modding community, and they've basically gone now. You can only use mods on the PC, right? Because there's no real mod support for a lot of games on console, and they've gone. Here is our entire catalogue of everything. Do what the fuck you want with it. Do whatever you want to do.
The other thing for me is, for Space Marine specifically, is the way that you have to grind. I don't like games where you really have to grind.
Yeah.
And where you have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again to grind a skin out. It kind of grips me. And people have made the comparison with, say, playing a Battle Royale over and over again, we're playing the Operations over and over again. I don't see that comparison. Okay, you're playing the same game mode, but
Maxed out all achievements.
Have you? Well done.
50
well done.
50. I'm just trying to find my playtime on it.
Does that make her get on her knees that you've maxed out all these achievements?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay.
Just walking through shallow puddles all over my house.
Yeah, and I can see how people can make that comparison, but I don't get that comparison personally because I feel like when you play a multiplayer game online versus a campaign story where you have a linear kind of path to get through that mission and the same big bosses in the same places, you can play 4 games of Battle Royale and your final experience circle is incredibly different on every single game you play. So although to some extent every single gameplay,
you die a lot.
I do, yeah. Mine might be the same.
Yeah.
But for people that are good, I die in different places though, Jay.
Yeah? You can die in different places on Space Marine 2.
It's true, yeah.
Like, you go to the same place. Like, I like, know that, really, like, obviously, like, the new Elden Ring, I know that the end result is always going to be the same. I will die fighting the boss, and I'll never get through. But it's just, I think it's like, it depends on what you want.
The way I like to like we play Space Marine Operations and people will say, okay, so you need to get that thing there because as we go around this corner there's going to be a wave of termagants to hit you, right? So you know what's coming, okay? And then I play COD and I go around a corner and I don't know what I'm going to walk into. Now I'm not saying COD is better than Space Marine because COD's a fucking shithole at the moment. I think I've been in that game off. I'm not trying to say Call of Duty is better. Because I think it's a painful, dull, dreary experience for people at the moment. casual mode mostly saved it for us and our friends because we were able to have a giggle and enjoy ourselves. But you walk around the corner, you don't know what's coming. A team might be there, a team might not be there. A half decent team might be there, a terrible team might be there. It's completely irrelevant. Not completely irrelevant. It's completely unknowing. You don't know what's happening. You walk around the corner in Space Marine, and you go, "The Hive Tyrant's going to be there in a minute," because that's what happens.
Yeah, but that's he's a final boss though. But like swarms in Space Marine 2 are randomly generated in terms of when they happen, and the lower level bosses are all randomly generated. So you don't know when those guys will appear. But like the PvP element of Call of Duty is what makes it more
spontaneous.
Yeah,
I think so.
But at the same time, it has a lot more feel bads.
But this also isn't a Space Marine whinge specifically. I just don't like grinding things. Like people were talking in chat about Destiny. The amount of grind. I played Destiny or Destiny 2, whichever one it was, and I started some of the grinding because that was the done thing, and I got very bored very quickly. I was like, I don't like this grinding nonsense just to get the best weapons. I can't. And even then, that wasn't just skin based. That was like literally about getting better weapons. I was like.
The problem with Destiny, as I found, is like just find the same gun you've already got, but with bigger numbers.
Yeah, essentially.
And
that was my experience anyway.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. But I think the problem with.
I think you're very correct in what you said as well. I don't think they foresaw the amount of success that Space Marine 2 would have in terms of both player numbers and sales. And I think the game launched weak.
Yeah.
So in terms of the way it played, well done the people that launched Space Marine for finally, in the modern day and age, releasing a game that just worked. Who knew that was possible?
Yeah.
And I will forever give them kudos for that because the game just worked. But I think it lacked a lot of depth.
Well, I think the problem is Space Marine 2 is they gave us everything that they could with the budget they had.
Yeah, of course.
And Games Workshop just is one of those companies that's not willing to commit unless the data is there, right? That's why we just don't get certain things sometimes. Because this is the best way of doing it. And they go, well, there's no data to show that would work, so we won't. So it's like Space Marine 3, no one knew if Space Marine 3 would happen after Space Marine 2. They made so much money, they're like, cool, we can make Space Marine 3 now. Space Marine 2 was so successful, we can put more into it. We can do more. So Space Marine 3 will be bigger. It will be better.
Do you know what will happen when Space Marine 3 will come out, Joe?
What's that?
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
100% I will. Because I loved playing the campaign with you and Josh. That was great fun.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
I like it, but it's one of those things where it's like, I find that I've played PvP games so much that I don't really enjoy them so much anymore. Because like things like cheating is rampant, the game is break all the time, and much like I think like Star Wars in a way, like just like big companies, lots of games, like, we'll just keep feeding people the same thing over and over again. They have to be happy with it, and I think with Call of Duty, I'm like I just don't enjoy playing it anymore.
No, I'm with you,
and I'm like I would rather, instead of all of my friends that I play games with regularly, instead of us all being miserable fighting other people, we could all be happy fighting computer-generated bad guys. So in Space Marine 2, we can all have a chat, we can all have a laugh, we can run around chopping stuff up, and we can paint ourselves in the chapters that we like. And there's no real pressure, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Because like, I find like playing Call of Duty, I do a couple rounds and then I'm just angry.
I've always found forever in my gaming career so far, that I find PvP always engages me for longer. It's a shame that the current COD version is a hot mess, and one of the biggest issues is the fraternity of cheaters that seems to consistently turn up.
Well,
and ruin
the thing is, though,
day.
it's all computer games now that have a player versus player element where cheater, unless the people that make the game are willing to put the effort in to stop cheating, they won't. So Call of Duty has no want or desire to ban all the cheaters forever, because what that does is that affects their player numbers. because cheaters, when they get kicked, they start a new account. So the player count always looks really, really high. If they kick 30,000 cheaters and do a hardware ban so they can never access Call of Duty again on their computer, what means is that their 50,000 player base drops to 20 and never increases.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's that many people cheating, but there is a lot.
But it's the thing. So when they go, oh, we've banned 16,000 cheaters worldwide this weekend, that their player numbers don't change because those 16,000 people just come back immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas there have been games where...
Isn't it a sad state of the world
So the finals is a prime example of why getting rid of hackers is great for your player base, but not for your game. So the finals came out really, really well. It was really, really popular and loads of people were playing it. And then the makers of it said that you can only play within your country. We do hardware bans, so if you cheat, you can't play our game anymore. Also, people inside China can't play outside of China, because that's where a lot of the hackers are coming from. And then what happened is the game just went because no one was playing it anymore because all the hackers were just gone.
I'll never also ever get my head round, and this goes the same for tabletop gaming, although it's more difficult to do. I'll never ever get my head around cheating. I will never be able to understand cheating.
Well, it's the same for tabletop gaming, isn't it? Right?
It is the same.
I've had people that I've watched them cheat, do things to cheat against me, and I'm just like, I don't get it.
I don't understand.
Why?
Because
when
you win anything that you've cheated in, you haven't won.
No.
Because you've cheated. So the cheat has won.
Yeah.
Rather than you winning.
It's a hollow victory, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really?
And I don't understand what people get from that. I can't understand how that can give you any kind of dopamine hit.
So like in Call of Duty, if people are cheating, what they do is they win the round and then immediately leave. Because at the end of Call of Duty, there's like a little clip where everyone gets into a helicopter and flies away. All the hackers, they leave before that happens. Because they've got the win, their numbers on their profile go up 1, but no one can see them to report them. That's why they leave. But it's the same situation in like Warhammer. When people cheat, they haven't won. They haven't won by playing the army their way their army is supposed to be played.
I don't get it though. I don't understand.
Yeah, I played against a lad that would he'd roll his dice, and then when he picked up the dice, he'd roll them in his fingers. I could see him doing it.
Yeah, exactly, Drew. Like heroically dealing with a rhino.
Yeah.
But I mean that to be fair to Tom, because we're taking the piss, that was an honest mistake rather than a cheat. He legitimately thought he could do that.
Yeah, but like when you're
and Tom's the kind of person who's going to be more devastated that he's done that rather than
But it's like people that use dice that only roll 6s, that literally microwave their dice or just buy dice that only roll 6s. And it's like you've only won because you're not using legitimate tools to play the game.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? I think it's weird.
Yeah.
I think people cheating is just never going to make sense to me. And it doesn't matter whether it's a video game, a tabletop war game, a sport. Like if you take performance enhancing drugs to get to number 1 in your sporting field, you haven't. The drugs have. If you use aim assist, cheats, etc. in a video game, you haven't won. And what's a shame? I'm a person, so people have different preferences, and I'm a person who will always prefer PvP to PvE because I find it more engaging, more exciting, more adrenaline pushing, if you want to call it that way. And when you do well in it, I find it more rewarding because you're playing against an actual person rather than a computer. Some people don't. Some people prefer PvE. I'm not saying one is better than it, I'm just saying my preference, right? And then when you're doing well or you're having a good game and you come up against someone who's then cheating and beats you, you're like, it's just I will never understand.
Well,
I've never ever had the desire to cheat.
So great cartographers brought up a point: toilet dice, right? So like, people know cheating is bad, cheating is wrong, and that you shouldn't do it because there's no honour in it. You know, it's dishonourable to cheat. So the story of that lad who was cheating, he got caught out of cheating, and he tried to hide the evidence by literally trying to flush his dice down the toilet because he knew that he cheated, he knew that he'd been caught. Get rid of the evidence, right? And it's like so that person knows what they were doing is wrong. So why do it in the first place?
Well, normally
that's always my.
So normally it depends on the end result. So if you're competing in a thing that's got a 10 grand pot, then I understand cheating more. I still don't understand cheating, but I understand it more because it's 10 grand on the line, right? And I've said 10 grand is an extreme number to people like us. It doesn't have to be 10 grand. It could be 500 quid. 500 quid can make a huge difference to people. 100 quid actually can make a huge difference to someone. The second there's that kind of prize point on the line, I kind of get it more, but I still don't fully get it.
It's like
if you're playing something for enjoyment, like a COD game or whatever, like when you and I are playing in a battle royale, for example, and we come across a team of hackers, we're not playing a tournament. There's no prize pool. We're not in a COD league. We're not doing ranked play. We're not trying to. So why are they cheating? Well, the only thing I can think of is maybe they're trying to make content and they're trying to monetize that somehow, or they're trying to do something and they're using these cheats to. I don't know.
People, they don't pop up so much anymore. But there was a rife hack selling market on TikTok. They've really cracked down on it recently. But basically, so you just scroll through and it'd randomly be like some guy in Birmingham playing Call of Duty, recording his screen, so blatantly hacking, and he's like constantly going like DM me for details, 20 quid. You know, he's literally trying to sell hacks to people. So there's literally people hacking in games to sell hacks. I joined a server the other day, and the literal text chat in the corner was just people selling cheats.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't get it. So that's why I'm like,
I don't think games help either, though. So Kev asked a question earlier. I think it was Kev asked a question earlier, or was it someone else? Someone asked a question earlier, and I don't remember exactly the words that it had, but I thought it was an interesting thing to ask you. It was Kev. Grind versus paid for DLC. And this is where I think sometimes games don't do themselves any favours, because live service often means you pay for things like a battle pass, and then you get access to weapons. Call of Duty are horrific for this, right? This is another thing I'm getting fucking really bored of, and this is another reason why I'm for reference, if you support VAG and you enjoy VAG, there'll be still loads of content going on to it. It's a lot less if it's going to be Call of Duty, I'll be honest, because this is the other thing that annoys me. Oh, here's your new season. Here's season 4. Oh, here's a new battle pass. Guess what? How battle pass got 2 guns on it? Guess what? They happen to be the 2 best meta guns now. If you don't buy the battle pass, you don't get the guns. Guess what? Everyone else who does buy that battle pass now has an advantage over you.
Yeah.
So it's pay to win, which in essence isn't too dissimilar to cheats. Pay to win. Buy a cheat win.
It's more of an honest way, because everyone can. The thing is, though, everyone can pay to win. Not everyone can have access to cheats. Right. If you're on a console,
I mean, I'm gonna be going really extreme if I say actually not.
I mean, it is. Well, the thing is, though, it's like people that say that aim assist is cheating, but it's not cheating because it's a part of the game.
So the inbuilt aim assist on the game, yes.
Yeah.
But you can buy cheating aim assist,
Additional aim assist,
AA.
or you can buy the Cronus things that plug into your controllers, and we're well off topic now. Like you can.
Well, people are talking, so you know. We're also on the 30 members team. If you want to support the shows, support the Liam and Joe shows, and continue with the Liam and Joe rambles, members is the best way to do that.
Yeah. But however, the free guns on Battle Pass you can still earn.
Can you?
Yeah. But by having Battle Pass, you get to them quicker.
Right. Okay. Right. So you do have an advantage.
You do have an advantage because when you buy Battle Pass, you skip 20 levels, and that 20th level gets you to the first gun, basically.
I feel like I remember Battlefield doing this quite well, whereby you were able to grind everything out on Battlefield, but you could also buy packs that let you bypass the grind part if you wanted to.
Well, they released them later, didn't they?
You also could unlock, like I was fucking around with it yesterday, Battlefield 1, and you would earn war bombs from playing games that you could use to unlock certain weapons that you wanted.
Well, they always wait. After the first year, they buy level skips, don't they? So you can literally just buy all the guns for an entire class if you want to, which I think is good.
Kev says, "Where do I buy the DSL for this channel?" ! Gift, Kev.
Yeah, because some people go
pay to accelerate is way better than pay to win. Agreed, 100%. Sorry, I've interrupted you twice there, Joe.
So basically, you can go. So people that basically haven't had an entire year of playing can catch up and be on the same level.
Yeah.
Whereas when a battle pass comes out that has free stuff locked in it, but you can get to it earlier by paying, it's weird because you both enter at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's free. When it's literally you can only have the best gun if you pay for it, that's the worst version.
Agree.
They also have like pay to win skins, so like the Terminator skin, which is fucking invisible.
Yeah.
Basically. There was a skin that was broken for 3 months during Caldera, where all you could see was the eyeballs because the body never rendered in, so it was just a floating gun and eyeballs. That was fucking annoying.
Well, I remember when they did the boys crossover, and Black Noir was a problem. You just couldn't see him anywhere.
But you don't really get paid to win in Warhammer.
You do.
Do you?
Yeah, you do. But it's not as prominent.
Because
it's not
we're
as
all
obvious.
buying. We all have
It's not as obvious though. So pay to win in Warhammer is not all that obvious. So it's. I think it exists, but it's not the same. So you can have an army that you're playing with that say, I don't know, Eldar. It doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't matter what faction it is. You can have an army you're playing with, and then they change the meta. They change the meta quite significantly by changing rules, changing points. Yeah. And some people can afford to drop 300 quid to change their list
on the day the rules change,
and some people can't. Yeah, and I think that is sort of a form of paying to win if you're able to then buy the most meta thing. It's also like the difference
between playing one army and lots of armies. So if I didn't have this chant, if I wasn't here, right,
I'd be sad. I'd be much sadder.
Would probably only have one, maybe two 40k armies. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I don't think I'd have more than 2 armies because I just wouldn't be able to afford it.
Okay.
Right. So, say for instance, I only had Tyranids and Chaos Space Marines, right? Or I just had Tyranids, right? Because there's people out there like Sky Serpent, Paulie. He only does Drakari, right?
Yeah.
So, all of his money is invested into that one army. So the chances of him having 3 of everything are quite high, right?
Yeah.
So when the meta does change, he can just change into it straight away. Whereas there are currently people who play multiple armies because they only play the best ones, and we know those people, right? That literally go, this codex has come out, I'm buying 2,000 points of the best version of that army.
But I still think that Warhammer 40k is arguably like one of the most obvious pay-to-win things that's ever existed.
Yeah.
Because if you can buy the latest broken army, then you can win.
Yeah.
More often than not. Not always. There are those people.
Also skill levels. Also.
Yeah. There are those people that copy lists from the top people out there in the community, go to an event and go, hang on a minute, I lost 2 games. How did that happen? This list is entirely broken. I watched this other person go 8-0 with it. But that is a skill issue. But you still, those people, those circumstances are almost always winning more games because of the list they've bought.
Oh, 100%. Like we've seen people just shoot up rankings because they just folded into the newest thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
So I'm not saying that everyone who buys a new army or buys new models is paying to win, but I think Warhammer is one of like the most extreme versions of pay to win in existence, and probably one of the reasons why Games Workshop makes so much money. It's arguably similar with things like Magic. If you can buy the best cards, if you've got the money to buy the best cards, you are likely to do better in Magic.
Yeah, but weirdly, buying the best cards. So this is a weird thing, right? So Magic the Gathering, like when you go pay to win in 40k, Games Workshop directly benefits from it.
Yes,
because you're buying
from them,
sort of, or they're buying from someone that bought the stock.
Yeah.
Right. So you're buying from Element. It's my Element in chat. You can buy. So you buy from, but Games Workshop have got that money, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in something like Magic the Gathering, Wizards don't sell individual cards. They sell booster packs.
Yes.
So Magic's not actually directly benefiting from having broken cards, which is really weird. So resellers benefit the most from...
The second-hand market does really well, yes.
Does better for it, which is weird.
Yeah.
So Magic could realistically make more money by selling cards individually, but they just sell loads of booster packs instead.
But the point remains, it's still it's still a pay to win arguable system.
It is. Magic Gathering is the biggest pay to win.
If you and your mates want to play Commander, and you're all going to go into a shop and buy a random Commander deck, one each, you have no idea what any of them do. You come and sit around the table and play. That's not pay to win. If you're going to be custom building a deck for an event, like you would custom build a 40k army for an event, some people are like, this is what I have access to with the faction that I collect, so this is the best I can make out of what I've got, I'm going to go and play a game. And some people go, this isn't good enough, I'm going to go drop 3 to 500 quid on new models, get them ready for a tournament. I'd argue that classifies as pay to win, to a point. The difference we do have with 40k is dice rolls and player skill do exist. So it's less obvious, I think, because you can have a moron of a player who has average to bad dice rolls, and he can have the strongest list in existence. So they could end up. Brom is a lifestyle. Outlier, he's one of these people that proves this point, because he goes to a GT in a local kind of small GT that doesn't include all the best players in the country, with Harlequins at the time with the best faction in existence.
He should have clapped all the cheeks.
And he went 1-4.
Yeah.
So, although it does exist pay to win, there are the difference with something like a bonus you can get on a video game versus something like 40k is there's a lot more, I think, contributing factors to a win in 40k, to be fair. But hey, right. Chat, we're going to jump into you people now and talk to you. There's not tons to talk about. If you've got points on anything we've spoken about, please feel free to stick it on a postcard. And as we're getting through chat, we'll get to it.
Please tell me who you romanced in Mass Effect.
Yeah. We also have some gifters to get through. It's been a quiet morning so far, afternoon.
Fun fact, right? In Mass Effect, there's a lot of characters in it you can romance. There's a great race of blue. They're basically kind of like Eldar, but they're not. But they're blue, the Asari, and they're all basically just big booby, incredibly fit alien ladies, right?
Cool.
But they only have two jobs that they can do. According to the world of Mass Effect, there's only 2 jobs that they can do: assassin, stripper. That's it.
Fair.
They only have. There's only 2 lines of avenue for them.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Liara is her name. Also, Liara is the one that you can romance. She's the only one in the game that has eyebrows. The entire race of aliens. She's the only one with eyebrows.
Right. Okay.
So,
cool.
Game 2, I was all about Miranda though.
It is actually
the tattooed chick. You mean Jack?
It is actually 35 members. All right, so chat, we're on 35 members. There's 290 people watching right now. We're on 103 likes. If it's not too much trouble, please find a way, if you're watching on your computer, TV, a tablet, whatever, to hit that like button for us. It's really helpful. It genuinely is actually really helpful. And if you are not already and you're watching, you haven't commented in chat, think about smashing that subscribe button, because at the time of asking, we are on 34,899 subs.
Yeah.
So one away from 34,900, which is what I checked a minute ago.
Someone said Ashley. Ashley is a great character. Massive space racist. Hates anyone that's not human. Romances you all the time by basically reading poetry to you.
If you want to grab more random people and pull them into the Great Hall, think about gifting some memberships if you want to support us. It's the best way to support us. In fact, gifted memberships makes up something like 80% of our overall revenue. No, 70% of our revenue over our overall revenue. So for those of you people that are gifting memberships, thank you so much. We're on 35 so far. It would be great to at least get to 50 for the Liam and Joe show. With nearly 300 people watching, if every single person gifted one, we probably at least make 50.
Yeah.
All right, that's how maths works. And talking about gifted memberships, we'll start off with Mr. Demogorgon. Thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Demogorgon. I hope that your house gets sorted soon. Really quickly.
Really quickly.
Like in next week. Boom,
yeah.
Done.
There we go. Yeah. Travis, thank you for the $2. The best science fiction was my last relationship. I don't know whether we should be laughing at that or not, but I hadn't read that in advance. Thanks for the $2, man. What a legend.
Self-burn. I like it.
Ben, thank you for the 350. Laura's first, Laura's best, Laura's deepest. I do know people, well, specifically I know an individual person who did, this was weird. This was a really weird experience. When I was working on the underground after I left the forces.
With Girls Aloud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a night shift. The night shift sometimes got very quiet very quickly. So I used to take a tablet in with me and I'd sit and watch YouTube if there was literally no work on. We were waiting for the trains to come in or whatever. And I was sat on a train watching some Warhammer stuff. It's the first time I'd ever dived into Warhammer on YouTube, right? I was sat watching this Warhammer stuff on the train. And a guy I knew who I was working with at the time was like, "What's that?" And I told him. And he was fucking blown away. And the reason why he was blown away is because he'd been reading the Horus Heresy for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? And had no idea at all that a tabletop game existed. So he'd found the books in like a Waterstones, right? Started reading it, cool, some sci-fi. Literally started with Horus Rising, started with the first one.
Yeah.
Had got through multiple books of the Heresy. No idea a tabletop hobby ever existed.
That's mental, isn't it?
I've never heard that since. I'd never heard it before. And he was like, "Fuck off." I was like, "The books you're reading are actually based off a tabletop game. The game's not based off your books."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nah." I was like, "Yeah, honestly."
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe it.
Well, it's like they don't really like, because I suppose when he started, Games Work. So now they've rebranded Games Workshop stores to Warhammer. We talked about this the other week because Warhammer is a more recognisable brand than Games Workshop. Because like mums, aunts, family members that don't play Warhammer know Games Workshop as the Warhammer shop. Do you want to go to the Warhammer shop today? Even though it was Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So it just makes natural sense. So I suppose if you're reading Horus Heresy, there's no Horus Heresy shop.
Yeah, well,
You know?
I mean, when I was a kid, I had no idea at the time before I started collecting that Games Workshop was just Warhammer. I thought it literally stocked all kinds of games and board games and all sorts. I didn't have no idea because we never went in there.
Yeah.
And my mum was always like, "We're not going in there. It's quite expensive." I'm like, "Bitch," she knew what it was, and she knew I was going to get hooked.
So Jason says does not own Google. The thing is, though, right? If you're reading, say, books about Robin Hood, right? You don't really Google Robin Hood, do you? Unless you really fucking.
Son of Olympia says, "Dude just ignored the back of the books where GW literally advertised the tabletop game." I own those books. I had no idea they advertised the game in the back of the books. So I've not seen it.
Yeah.
So I've got no idea.
Well, I remember this is a case I used to ask people coming and asking for video games too. I was like, when I worked at Games Workshop, the amount of times people that phoned up asking if we buy PlayStations. Like thinking that
CX.
Yeah, like CX or like game or whatever.
Yeah.
So, or like, "Oh, have you got this new computer game in?" And we're like, "No, we don't. We don't." The irony was we were across the road from CEX.
Yeah, it's
The
mad.
shop across the road from us does.
But I see why they've rebranded it. It makes sense, especially for now people talk joking about it, especially now things like Google exist. But yeah, this dude never heard of the tabletop game. Was only reading the lore, and so he was into the lore first, and then he started getting really into the tabletop game afterwards. So it happens. It's just quite rare.
I've got an hour and a half. I'm going for a wee.
You've done all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hold off for the next 5 gifted. We are currently on 36 gifted now, or 36 new members, chat. Can you hit 50 members, here's a challenge, before Joe gets back from the bathroom? Could you do that? Also, thank you for all the super chats so far. You people are amazing. Thank you so much to the Ever Chosen for $10. What the fuck? I've caught a live viewing. Hey, I love your work, guys. Well, thank you so much for the $10, man. From Australia, you're a legend. It's always exciting when people catch new live ones. So someone caught the live show last night and was like, "I have no idea what's going on. This doesn't seem like." And I'm like, "This is what the show is, though, right? It's not always on topic. We aren't very good at being on topic. I think most people now know and accept that we're not very good at being on topic, but I don't care about being on topic. But thank you so much for the yellow one. You're a legend. You're a hero. Ash, thank you for the 2. For me, the most fun ever was PUBG 8-player custom games. I never really got into PUBG. I played a bit of it, never really got into it. I'm not really very good at Battle Royale games. You may have seen this on Vag in the past. I'm not particularly good at it. So, here we go. Let's do it. 38. Oh, Arjak got gifted. Look at that. What are those noises? Thank you, Biggie. Thank you, Jacob, for the 1 gifted each. I won't wait for Joe because he doesn't give you hopes for those things. Cray, thank you for the big orange one. You're a legend. Played a game of 40k in over a year. My GC Cults versus 3 Lords of Skulls. Managed to squeeze out a win and had fun overall. But man, between GC the Colts and AdMech, I keep picking such anemic armies. Need to find an army with some hitting power. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Got 10 to go and he's on his way back. Yes, you do. GC the Colts, I don't know anything about them. I can't really help you there. But I never see them doing massive amounts of damage. So coming up against 3 Lords of Skulls is a rough pull. You know.
What's this?
Cray said, played my first game of 40k in over a year. My GC the Cult versus 3 Lords of Skulls. Managed to squeeze out a win, but had fun overall. But man, between GC the Cult and AdMech, I keep picking such anemic armies. Need to find an army with some hitting power.
The problem is with GC the Cult, all their power is basically in the hybrids with the fucking... like the big grinder drill things.
I don't know anything about them, Joe, so yes.
Yeah, like all their power is their like squad. Like you've got a unit of 20 where 4 people are good, right? You've basically got 16 ablative wounds for 4 models.
And then Everchosen, who's going now, also said, by the way, first, what the fuck, I've caught a live viewing. Love your work.
Oh.
Nice thing of them to do, isn't it?
I caught a Cooney live viewing the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mr. Chris.
I don't know if he's around, but
I love Cooney. He's a legend.
I caught one of his the other day.
He
He didn't know who I was.
Did he not?
No.
Oh.
Well, my name is Joe Cole's Wallace and Gromit Appreciation Society or Club.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. Although I changed it to Stod the other day.
You know, Joe Cole's Liam's bitch.
Yeah.
You changed it to Stod?
Yeah.
That's...
I was watching Stod the other day. He was doing some great shots. I was like, it's worth a name change.
So what did you change your name to?
Joe Cole's Stod Appreciation Club.
Right, okay. I was like, you can't just call yourself Stod.
And then I changed it to Mikey Appreciation Club after he went for his he's still part of the Blocks Club.
The Blocks Club, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call it now.
I'm part of the Blocks Club, although
Yeah.
I did discover that I'm not part of the Blocks Club on TikTok because it got put in front of me, and I almost commented on it and was like, "Can you please block me on here too? I don't want to see you anywhere." and I typed it out, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not going to click send."
Oh.
I thought about it though. I did think about it. We have some gifts. I was waiting for you, Joe. Mr. the Tribune. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Mr. the Tribune, that you get a invite to have tea with the king.
Yeah. It wasn't the greatest gift in the world. It was just a Tribune. Hamper 92. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Hamper 92.
Yeah.
I hope that you are given a Warhammer hamper from your local store manager.
Ooh. What would be in a Warhammer hamper? What sort of thing?
Well, it depends what time of year it is, isn't it? Really?
Okay.
Because like a Christmas one, you'd expect like lots of maybe snow or red-based things. Maybe you want it wrapped. You always get Christmas pudding, don't you? In a hamper.
I do love a
Christmas pudding.
Oh.
If it's a Christmas pudding that doesn't have a hamper that doesn't have a Christmas pudding is a bad hamper to start off with.
Yeah.
There's always biscuits, fancy biscuits.
I love Christmas, Joe. There's two things I love: hot summer, Christmas.
Yeah.
That's it. I can give up spring and autumn, all that nonsense. Hot summer, Christmas.
I like the 3-week lead up to Christmas.
That's
Day,
part of Christmas, yeah.
I think like the moment it gets to about Christmas morning, I'm like, fun's over now. Because Christmas Day is always busy for me because like travelling around and seeing stuff.
Yeah, we're quite lucky like that. We don't. We just don't.
I think the going out to see the Christmas things, going out shopping,
the general vibe.
Yeah,
because Willie Atson scarves on, Christmas music in the wind, and then you get a hot job. Oh, it's fucking banging it. Yeah. It's really good.
And then like a New Year's is a bit shit. The older you get, the worse New Year's Eve gets.
Yeah,
I hate New Year's Eve.
So we just I don't like New Year's Eve. So we just do a stream on New Year's Eve now.
So last New Year's I stayed up, and the year before that, Tam's really ill. So I spent my New Year's with a guy called Stuart from Manchester. We were playing Call of Duty Zombies together at midnight. Just because Martin was ill, the kids were in bed, so I just played Call of Duty Zombies.
We should get.
And I was on voice chat, and I played like 10 rounds with this guy.
We should get Joe to dial in from his house on New Year's Eve for an hour in the stream.
But it's yeah, lovely time. Haven't spoken to him since.
Yeah.
He pops
Okay.
up on my friends list.
Cool.
You do that on computer games, don't you? You become best friends with a complete stranger from anywhere between like 40 minutes to like 3 hours. Never communicate ever again.
I love a late. I don't. Do you know what, Ash? I don't hate autumn or spring, but I want perfect blue sky, sunshine, 30 degrees, or I want super fucking cold, need your hat and scarf on, blue sky, sunshine. Christmas.
I'm like October 1st to December 25th is my favourite time of the year. It's perfect.
Okay.
To quote Homelander, it's perfect. But the
Fancy yourself as a bit of a Homelander DJ?
no,
No,
there's
it's
a
a
lot of
safe
bad
answer. Yeah,
qualities,
no, it's
but-
a safe answer.
But
there.
he's got that bit. It was like it was perfect. That's the minute. That time of year is great, and then it's just like nah. I hate really hot summers.
I love them. I love them.
Since Tamsin's got into gardening, we've spent a lot of time sat out there.
I love hot weather. I love it. I'm fucking mad for it. Just ride the bike everywhere. Just be out in the sun. Like yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday it was quite sunny in the morning. Just went and sat in the garden with the dog for half an hour and just felt energised.
Yeah.
This morning it's drizzly and shit and windy and rainy. I didn't sit in the garden for half an hour. I'm not energised
it.
today.
I have the sound of rain on the windows. I can look out there.
No,
Yeah,
I'm one of those people. Like, I'm definitely affected quite strongly by weather and the seasons. So, like, when it's sunny and hot, I'm fucking. You know, you've seen me. I go downstairs and bask in the car park like a lizard in the sunshine. And then when it's rainy, I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to play games. I don't want to come to the studio. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sit in my bed under the duvet. Like, if I'm tired, rainy, shitty weather is the best because I just want to be in bed and go to sleep and hibernate. I think if I could, because of food I can't, but I think if I could, I'd actually be a person who hibernates. Cray, thank you for 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Cray. I hope that they invent dungarees that you look good in. Because no one looks good in dungarees, unless you're a farmer, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. You can get those sorts of hopes if you gift. We're on 45. We're 5 away from 50.
It's not the best
You can
hope,
also tell us via postcards what your favourite type of time of the season is, or time of the year is, and why.
I think
I'm actually quite interested in this one because people are like wildly different. Some people love summers, some people love winters, some people love autumns because of all the oranges and browns on the trees and stuff like that. What's your favourite time of the year and why? Postcards, go.
food.
Hamper, thank you for 5 more gifted memberships. So he's had his hamper, and now
I hope that your favourite TV show that comes out like weekly, or they release all of it in one go, they put on at your local cinema.
well, that's good.
Because I noticed they put they have like Doctor Who was on the cinema, and I was like, who goes to the cinema to watch one episode of something? Although that's also like a good thing. You know you're only going for half an hour, but you get comfy seat and popcorn.
Yeah. Dennis says the heat is easy to deal with on the coast, though. If you're in the city, it's muggy and unbearable. And although you are correct, I have also done summers in California, in Arizona, and in Afghanistan. Trust me when I tell you, I just like the heat. It's not necessarily about being by the coast and having a coastal breeze. I just like the
Also,
heat.
being on the coast here, you're on the worst part of the coast, right? Because there's no beach and it's full of nonsense.
You can go to Bournemouth, Joe, half an hour down the road and there's a beach.
Where they have the beach.
But the point is, when it's hot, the breeze coming off the coast does cool it down slightly, and we do have beautiful 30-degree days here with a nice gentle sea breeze, which is lovely. But again, I did it in Arizona. We did it in El Centro. I've done it in fucking Afghanistan. I've been to Dubai.
To be honest, though, when I was a van driver, I fucking loved driving in London. Some of my best day. When I like you go in London, I'm like banging.
Really, I hate driving in London.
Driving in a white van in London in the summer is great. I just really enjoy driving around London.
I hate driving around London.
Yeah.
I think I'd like it more if it wasn't my vehicle. To be fair.
Yeah, I think like London's great because I feel like because everyone's like, oh, it's terrible driving in the city. It's better to drive in the countryside. I'm like, no, because everyone that drives in the countryside is an arsehole. But in London, everyone is also the same, but they're accepting of it.
Yeah.
They're like, so in the countryside, everyone's just really angry and they'll hate each other. Whereas in London, if someone pulls a manoeuvre to do something, you're like, fair, I would have done that.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I get it.
Yeah, my biggest problem with loving the heat as well is the fact that I happen to marry a person who fucking hates it. Luce, like, we are polar opposites. I'm like, I'd move to Dubai or Texas, and she's like,
Well,
yeah.
there's a reason why she doesn't want to live in Dubai, mate.
Well,
There's a reason why you love it. She'd hate it.
I love it because there's no income tax, Joe.
Yeah?
And sunshine.
Yeah, she'd hate it because she's a woman. But, yeah.
And she, so I'm like, yeah, I'd love to move to like Texas, Dubai, that kind of place. And she's like, yeah, I could go and live in
Why?
like Sweden.
Why do you want to live in all the places where it's great to be a man, but not so great if you're a woman?
I actually don't care about that. I care about no income tax and nice weather.
Yeah?
That's what I care about. They're those two things I care about.
Yeah. It's weird how those things correlate.
It does,
with it's really good to be a man.
Come on, you're throwing me under the bus here, Joe. But you're like, actually,
I'd go to Texas, but I wouldn't go into the deep desert. I'd stay near a city.
Yeah, of
where
course.
It's safe.
Yeah.
Safer
Safer because people or because of creatures? Because I wouldn't.
I'd say
I wouldn't go to Australia because of the creatures.
I imagine like the
Live there.
deeply religious parts of Texas are actually probably the safest places to be.
Until they find out you're not religious, they try and burn you at the stake.
Yeah, but I think if you can pretend
Yeah.
long enough
Yeah.
that because you can have a gun, pretend to praise Jesus.
I
blow
could.
shit up.
I could praise Jeebus if it meant I was safe.
Or I want to be someone who can be a cowboy.
So let's go to Arizona. I'd take you to Tombstone. There's
Yeah,
a place in Arizona called Tombstone, right?
I've heard of
And
it.
Tombstone in Arizona, if it's the same, and I was there in 2010, so we're talking a long time ago, obviously. But Tombstone in Arizona, they have like an old Western village still built, and there's a bunch of people that cut around that are actors, and you can go and visit it and have a look around, and they just behave like they're old, and they have like shootouts in the street and stuff. You know, it's fucking great.
There's a character in Fear the Walking Dead who's a policeman, but he's also one of those cowboy actors. He's my favourite character. But I like the idea of like living on a ranch, having a pistol on your hip, cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Spend your evening in one of those saloons where everyone's doing line dancing and they all listen to like Creed.
When I first went to Arizona, I went to this place called Tucson, which a lot of people say is fucking horrible. And you know, there was a fair amount of crime that happened there, and we got warnings about areas not to go into, which is concerning, of course. But we were there working with the military, so it wasn't like I had a choice or I picked together on holiday. That being said, my kind of first experience of US in Tucson was fucking incredible, because you go and find bars. There was a bar, I think it was on 4th Avenue, and it had literal swing doors. And you go in through the swing doors, there's like fucking sawdust down everywhere, and everyone's in like shirts, jeans, boots, Stetsons type, or at least those kinds of hats. And I was like, this is the fucking life. And then you'd walk down the street and you go into like the big shopping mall that was there, and they've all got holstered revolvers on their hips with same get up, and I'm like, I want to live here. This is what I want. Swing doors, sawdust, proper old American bars. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm about that life.
Hot pants. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I Or I'd live near Yellowstone Park, aka Jellystone Park.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where Yogi Bear lives.
Yes, of course.
I just like the idea of being like a park ranger.
Yeah?
Anything with the name park with ranger in it, I'm sold.
And this is why we need a ton more gifted members, so Joe and I can go and live somewhere like that, and then the content's just going to get peak. It's just going to improve.
I like a job with a hat, I think. You know? Any job that comes with a cool hat and a badge shaped like a star, bang, done.
Okay. I can get you the badge and the hat for the channel. Yeah.
Sold. Yeah.
Cool. Adam, thank you for the 2. Did you ever try Starfield? I did when it came out, and it was broken. And then eventually, there's a couple of updates that happened, and it was sort of working. And then I just kind of lost interest because the other problem I have with video games, if I play a game and I can't get on with it because it's not working properly or it crashes or it's broken or whatever, if I then lose interest in it, when I go back to it, I'm like, I need to start again because I've forgotten what the fuck's going on with the story. And then you don't want to start again because you've already done this boring part.
I find I forget the controls.
And when that boring part, like Joe was saying, is 40 hours long, you kind of don't want to do that more than once, do you?
Well, it just becomes this weird grinding game where, because they sold the story, the whole part of Starfield, as the ship building is a super important part of the game. But you have to play the game for something like 60 hours before you're a high enough level to actually make cool spaceships.
Yeah.
Right? So you just spend the whole time stealing stuff to make money to sell to increase your level.
Yeah.
But Starfield has the same problem that all Bethesda games has, where you can only carry a certain amount of weight.
Yeah.
Although I did find that cool glitch on the cowboy planet where there's like a shop, but for some reason you can access the entire shop's inventory through a puddle outside the shop. So you could literally just empty the shop through a puddle and then slowly crawl your way back to another shop to sell it to them. It's quite funny.
Grey Cartographer, thank you so much for the 2. I would like a 40k total war. I would lose days. I feel like I'd like it until they bring it out and I realise it's a ton of effort and it's really hard and then I'm like, yeah, I'm bored.
What I want is a updated version of Dawn of War Dark Crusade. Right? The problem, when you go back and play Dawn of War now, as I do, the game's like super zoomed in. It's really, really I don't realise how close you are to the actual stuff, right? But they need to update it a bit to be a bit more akin to Company of Heroes, which is a bit more zoomed out. Have you played Company of Heroes?
No.
Great game.
Is it?
I think if they updated Dawn of War Dark Crusade to have the same kind of campaign structure, but move over to the Company of Heroes gameplay, I think it would be fucking amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Limey Panda, thank you for the $5. Cheaters rob themselves of a real win. I never get it. There are a few good Warhammer games, but I'd love a Warhammer version of Jedi Outcast / Jedi Survivor. That'd be interesting. Jedi Survivor is a game that my nippers played a lot. A lot.
Is that the one with the ginger lad in it?
Yeah, it starts off as
He plays the Joker in
Fallen Order's the first one.
Yeah.
And then
I think I played a lot of the first one, but never finished it. And then I tried playing the new one, and I got to the planet where you have to jump through lots of holes everywhere. And I found like a big monster in a cave, and I couldn't beat it and gave up. I was like, I'm bored now.
I played a lot of Fallen Order actually originally. The Jedi games are very good, to be fair. Evan, thank you for the $5. With regards to cheating, death comes for us all, Orokosaki, but for you, something much worse. For when you die, it will be without honour. Guess that's a quote from something.
Yeah. Just a bit cheaters, just honourless douchebags.
They are honest douchebags.
Yeah.
We're still 5 members away from 50. Talking about you honest douchebags. Plague of Shadows, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan is in Texas.
Yeah. I hope that they make hunting man legal where you live, but they're all prisoners who've been given the death sentence. So you can legally hunt people down.
Is that okay?
Do you think that'd be fun?
I mean,
hunting the greatest prey there was.
Also,
man.
What I think Ryan's former / current job was like paramedic. I'm not sure it's in his nature to go around.
No, he must have had some dark days, where he was like,
I've had enough today. To be fair, Ryan, I am not questioning your professionalism in the slightest. This is Joe.
This guy was a drunk driver, killed an entire family of people. Bit of God's justice.
Right. Okay.
But
cool. Yep.
moving on. Just like, yeah.
Yeah. Terry Williams says, that's Texas.
You know, just like...
Not quite getting my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles quote. That's a paddling. That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was it?
I haven't watched it for a long time. Although I watched the new one, the cartoon. That was great. Okay, maybe don't kill them. Maybe you tranquilizer dart them. You know?
You can't dig yourself out of this hole now, Joe.
No, you don't have to. If you don't want to kill
Joe
them...
hopes are a little peek into his mind and what he frequently thinks about.
Okay. The homeless. No, just do just tranquilize dart. Done. You know, they don't have to get a good time. They've all commit crimes. You know.
Thank you so much, Son of Olympia, for the $5. If RPGs are an interest, Free League Publishing has an Alien movie franchise RPG that is extremely well written. Alien is a close second to 40k in Sci-Fi. I can't talk about Alien because I've never really watched the films.
All great.
So I don't really know anything about them. I've seen the majority of the first one. Most of it. I just didn't... It wasn't... Really
I think you have to... If you watch... It is a very expansive storyline. It's huge. And then it's like a weird... Like... Because when you include the Predator series as well, you... Like the background gets really, really deep. But it's like... It's one of those... Do they include the story from some of the Predator films? Because the film Predators... This is the one where they basically take a bunch of criminals, like merciless killers from Earth, and dump them on a planet, and then they basically have to survive because they're getting hunted by predators. That's really, really good. It's got the guy, something Brody, the guy from The Pianist. There's a great bit where he's got a USAS shotgun. He's like, it's great. That's a good film. Also, the new one, Prey. Is it Prey? The one with the Native Americans fighting the Predator. That's really good. But it's all part of the same universe. Because Alien versus Predator, there's a cool bit where they discover a giant pyramid underground and there are like aliens on Earth.
I watched the first Predator film and I thought it was quite good on the whole. I watched the second Predator film and thought it was dog shit. So I lost interest
There's
in Predator.
a new TV series coming out called Alien Earth, where basically aliens are now on Earth. And it looks really good. The Alien Romulus, also a great film.
I don't know what any of these things are. I don't really have any desire to watch
You
either.
could have watched the new Child Predator movie.
Kizari, thank you for the $5. Mass Effect. I've never gotten over them making the most lesbian that ever did lesbian straight because Fox News got upset. Is that a thing that happened? Do you recognise that happened? That is fucking hoofing it down outside.
Oh, there's one I said there.
No.
I can't remember that bit. But I think, like, I didn't know. I don't know.
I don't know what
the last Mass Effect.
I never played Mass Effect, Nick, so I can't really help you, mate.
The newest Mass Effect game, Andromeda, was a bit meh. But it's because I got rid of Shepard, but he was dead.
If that's the thing that happened, then it is a bit sad. Like,
what really annoyed me is when they change stuff because of backlash and they change it for the worse. So Battlefield 5, which was the World War II game, wasn't it? Battlefield 5 was the World War II.
Yeah, Battlefield
where
5.
the trailer for it looked insanely good.
It did.
Looked incredible. And then people complained that it wasn't realistic enough. So they changed it.
Yeah.
Which really bugged me. Because there was like a guy who had like a metal leg and there was a woman with like a metal arm.
And it gets
and they were like, women didn't fight in World War II. I was like, well, they did.
But even then, who cares? It's a video game. It's a fucking video game.
Those historically accurate French revolutionaries, you know.
It's a video game.
And they took it all out. They were campaigning. They were campaigning to remove from the latest Call of Duty, the World War II Call of Duty game, to remove swastikas. And I was like, and I'm part of the camp of saying, don't, because you're trying to like get rid of and remove history.
Yeah, that's that one. I don't think many people would disagree with that one. But when you're removing a part of a game which isn't historically accurate, just because they're making a game, like if they made a game where they were like, guess what, all these Nazis super friendly, then I'd be like, yeah, remove that shit.
Yeah, very sharp dressed, very nice people.
Don't put that in, of course. But if they're like, we've got Robo Leg Man and a woman running around in Battlefield 5, people are like, get rid of that because it didn't actually happen. I'm like, it's a video game.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
It wasn't even like Robo Leg. He literally just had like a metal peg leg.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
Like,
Dan Lammy Panda, thank you for the 5. Mass Effect is horny Star Trek, and I stand by that.
I think it's like Star Trek's horny Star Trek, isn't it? Really?
Well,
but it is because you are like an alien. I'm gonna have sex with it, but we're gonna romance it first. But Star Trek. The thing is, though, out of all the sci-fi universes, ideally you want to live in the Star Trek universe.
Why?
Because there's no money. Because they can make anything.
Right.
With a replicator. Literally, there are no real chefs because you go to a replicator and you're like, cheeseburger and chips, please, and it goes bloop, and it just makes you one, right? So they can produce anything for free. So humanity, like, has sorted out all of its shit, right? Everyone on Earth's like top pogging. We're all working together. We're all unified. Everything's great. Everyone has jobs to do, and they just do it because there's no system of like needing to trade stuff. Like I don't want to do my job because I have to work harder than you. They're like, well, I will do my job because I get everything I want. You know.
Yeah.
So it's great. And Star Trek, you're at a stage where it's just like we're just exploring shit. Just making giant spaceships, going around shagging aliens.
Yeah.
Some people die, but if you're really upset and you've got a red shirt on, you're in danger.
Okay.
But if you're in any other colour shirt,
you're fine.
You're fine.
You're safe.
Yeah.
Ben, thank you for the $3.50. Basically hate watching, hoping Warhammer comes up. Basically hate watching, hoping Warhammer comes up.
Oh, sad.
There's no punctuation in it, so I assume it's basically hate watching, hoping Warhammer comes up. I mean, it's not.
Obviously, like Adam's like DS9. There are pirates in.
Ben, thank you for the $3.50, by the way. Obviously. I don't understand. If you can help me understand, that'd be great. Scott Coomer, welcome to Skull tier member. You're a legend. Thank you so much. Lord of Cinder, thank you for the $5. Hot take: the only good humans in ME is Shepard and Keith. Oh, Mass Effect is Shepard and Keith David. The only reason I chose to save Ashley is I didn't want her to get that medal. I have no frame of reference here.
You have to choose between two of. There's a situation where you don't know it until afterwards, but you basically have to choose between two of your crew members to save. One of the two, and the other one dies. But Ashley's alright. She's a really good soldier class, but she's just horny space racist.
Right.
But likes poetry.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all about.
Oh, it's a smiley face. It's a winky face. It says winky face.
Yeah, it's all about the big booby blue lady for me.
Thank you, Christian, for the $5. Why, when I buy the models I like from a range, Fire Dragons, another faction, Yunari, get my entire army raised in points, and it's going to happen again? That's just the world of.
That's the
Warhammer,
the problem of the game that has been created now. That it's detachment to you always pay the cost of the benefits of one of the best attachment.
The problem when you play as a casual player, when you play 40k as a kind of person who plays it because of fun, because you buy models that you like, because you want to collect certain things, because you want to build your own narrative, you are unfortunately at the mercy of what the tournament scene is doing. And if you're disconnected from the tournament scene and you don't know what's going on in the tournament scene and you don't know what's going on competitively, often that means that you can unfortunately end up buying things that then get hit with a Nerf bat and you unfortunately get negatively impacted. It's a shame. It happens.
But you might find that those will come down with the release of new codexes.
Yeah.
Because you'll be finding that like those units aren't as efficient in the new meta, so they'll get cheaper.
Yeah, so there is a flip side to it where you could end up picking up some units that you think are super cool that no one else is running because they're absolute toilet, and you could find they get a buff. Yeah. So unfortunately for you, in this particular circumstance, it's happened in the negative way. But it is very possible it happens in a positive way as well, and it makes your things better. So I'm sorry that happens to you, mate. And I'm sorry it's Yunari that's the cause of it. But fire dragons were a bit mental anyway. Let's be honest. And I'm talking as a man who runs them and wants Joe to paint more. Cool.
Haven't you got 20 currently?
I've got 10.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought I painted 20.
I'm sure you've done 10. Well, we can check, but I'm pretty sure it's 10. Biggie, Jacob, Libby Panda, Captain Rex, thank you all for the 1 gifteds. We're up to 45 right now. We're getting to the end of the fan funded. If you want to throw some more at us, that would be incredible. I'd like to get to 50, pretty please. And you'll get much nicer hopes than Joe's last one. You scared someone off for the last hope. They had a membership as well.
Oh.
And they said, can't support this, sorry. And then my subscriber numbers went down by 1.
What?
Joe, if they're going to get that offended, this is probably not the channel
what
for them
not
anyway.
Supporting?
No, it was because of your last hope, where you went from releasing all the prisoners, letting Texans shoot them, down to then including homeless people, you know.
If people don't realise that we're joking...
Well, quite, exactly.
I think if you come here and get offended by stuff that we are clearly joking about, I think you're probably in the wrong place.
If you get offended by that, this is not the channel for you. Let's be honest.
Yeah. We say it how it is to a point. We won't say anything truly offensive. It's not like I'm out there stringing up homeless people.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, that we know of.
No.
But
in the daylight without his mask on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam, for 5 gifted memberships. Look at him paying to come.
I hope, Adam, that tonight's Mexico is the best Mexico you've ever had.
Well, he then followed up with a £5 super chat that said, Mexico time soon. Nights for your information. So he's bringing nights tonight.
He's bringing 90 nights.
Yeah. Do you know what you're running yet? Because Ash says, thank you for the 2, Ash, is Joe running Nids tonight? Raveners when, Evil Games Workshop? I don't know when the Raveners are coming. And if I did know, Ash, I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Well, I've painted some Chaos Knights, but Knights on Knights is a weird one, isn't it?
Knights on
Knights. It's a bit flip-floppy.
We haven't even got to 50 members. We probably need to make tonight's show last as well.
I think I'm running Tyranids on Thursday.
Are you?
For reasons.
Yes.
I don't know. I might be running Dark Angels or Tyranids on Thursday.
For reasons.
Mm-hmm. Knights is a hard one to match into, really. So I've not run Guard for a little while. I can't run Death Guard.
We gave it back.
Because we gave it back.
Adam asked if we were running Space Wolves because it was preview.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd want to, but you can. But I didn't think you'd want to
run Space Wolves. I don't mind running Space Wolves. I could bring Votan?
Against Knights?
Yeah.
Are they not going to struggle?
Well, not with all that anti-vehicle 2+.
I would like Adam to have a good time.
That's true.
And we have got to 50 members.
I might bring Chaos Space Marines.
So unless someone drops their yogurt now and gives 50, we're going to have some work to do tonight.
Yeah, I'll bring some Chaos Space Marines.
Thank you, Glambring Gaming, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Glambring. I hope that you get an air fryer and learn all the best ways to just cook everything all the time. I saw someone put marshmallows and chocolate into an air fryer and then like dip biscuits in it. And it's fucking crazy.
Cray, thank you for the 5,000 Japanese yen. Summer, beaches, grills, bikinis, and mint choc chip ice cream comes back to stores here in Japan. What's not to love? I do love a mint choc chip ice cream. Did you not say that was your favourite once? Was it you that said that?
Mint choc.
Mint choc chip.
Mint choc chip is my go-to, my favourite. But if I'm at an ice cream van, or like vendor type person, I always get rum and raisin.
That's fair. All those things do sound great, though, Cray, to be fair. Thank you, Ben, for the 350. Were XP. This is a new game. Cool. Knights. Yeah, Knights tonight. The XP thing, I'm still not sure yet if I'm keeping it on or getting rid of it. Since it's been on, gifteds have been slightly worse. Super chat's been slightly worse. So I don't know if it's negatively impacting people being prepared to spend because you just get XP for commenting. But at the same time, chat seems to have been busier, which is good for the algorithm. So it's a real for us.
I think the community thing's better for new channels.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I'm undecided what I'm going to. I thought I'd leave it on for a while. I need to speak to my partner manager about how they're going to develop it and see if they're going to do more things with it. I'm really torn at the moment. Thank you, Laura Cinder, for the 5 gifted memberships. You're a legend.
Thank you. I hope that you find you get a pet bumblebee, but it's the size of like a house cat. Because it'd be really furry, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but if they start flying around the house, it'll make some noise, isn't it? Blow things over. Yeah. What does the XP do? Nothing, Dave, at all. It just shows in the top corner as to who is in first place. No, it literally means nothing. Thank you so much, Tony Winnick, for the $10. We know you are joking. We just encourage you to work on your comedic timing, or perhaps give a ba-dum-bum at the end.
But then it's not funny. I find people that say something and then go ba-dum-tsh. This just reminds me of like Chandler from Friends. He was always the one I hated.
Do you not like it? Because now if I know you don't like it,
it's just a bit like. But yeah, when the person says a joke and then they do it, I'm just like. Maybe it's just British humour though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's just like it's very dry. Whereas Americans are like. It has to be very obvious humour followed up by laugh track.
The thing is, everyone gets so offended by everything nowadays, and there are some things that probably should be classified as offensive, but everyone just takes offence to everything, and it's like, fuck me, life's too short.
Yeah.
Fuck it, if you're that kind of terrible person, you'd like to think that for the most part, you're not really going to put yourself out there on the internet. Some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
Yeah, it's not like I actually believe that we should be hunting.
No, of course. It's not like, Joe hopes definitely come true.
Yeah.
Well, 60% come true, so you never know.
Yeah, I just think people need to chill out a bit.
Yeah, exactly that. Life's too fucking short and life's too fucking serious, for fuck's sake.
You are allowed to find things funny, without going, ooh, someone might get offended by that.
Yeah.
Because like, if I was out there murdering the homeless, I think that people would be like, something wrong with Joe.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have you on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, Joe. Yeah.
But like, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, to joke, but it's to kill them, to tranquilise them.
But also, you're people. There's extreme comedians out there, like I don't know.
Jimmy Carr,
Ricky Gervais, Frankie Boyle, right? Do we think that they actually believe half the stuff they say to make people laugh? No. That's not.
Jimmy Carr hasn't fucked everyone's mum.
No, exactly. Otherwise, they're just terrible human beings, aren't they? We're people that firmly believe we should be doing more for the homeless people, not less. But it's fucking Jesus Christ, people, get a grip.
And Jimmy Carr is and Ricky Gervais, probably the 2 most successful comedians ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Ricky Gervais has just had a star in Hollywood, isn't he, on the ground?
Has he?
Yeah. Like this last week or something. We'll get there one day, Jay. We'll have a Liam and Joe star on the Hollywood star thing. Sting. That.
You have to pay for it, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
You can get selected by a committee, and your people can nominate you to get one. But if you want it, you have to pay for it yourself and have to pay to have it maintained.
Yeah. I'm a huge dark humour fan, team, to be honest with you. But as long as it remains as humour, people don't take things seriously, because life's too short. So
sometimes we comment on TV stuff as well, like Blackadder, and there were things that came out long before things were offensive.
Yeah. Colton D, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Colton D, that next time you get a McDonald's drive-through, there's something wrong with the pay system, so they just give it to you for free.
Love it. I'm here for it. Thank you, Necromancer Goblin, for the 20 Danish Corona. Always look on the bright side of life. 100%.
Yeah.
And there are, you know what, right? Warjoy says, "Am I blocked?" No. Why? I can see you right now. There are some people out there that historically, some comedy out there that probably shouldn't be on TV anymore because times change and people evolve and things move into offensive. But fuck me, some people now just look for offence in everything all the time.
Yeah.
And, it fucking really annoys me.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Joe. I still love you.
And I think like
even if you made me go from 899 subscribers down to 898.
We didn't want him anyway.
I don't want 900.
I think, like, if you get offended at jokes that are obviously jokes, I don't think you're in the right place.
No, I agree.
And I also think that you're probably going to struggle in a lot of places that you go. Because if you don't find something funny that's been said, but it's obviously been said as a joke, I don't think there's any really need to be offended at it or comment that you are offended. Or just be like, oh, that person's obviously making a joke. I'm not going to get offended at that.
It's also pretty extreme to be a subscriber to a channel, which means you've probably enjoyed the content up to date, and at the point was a member, granted it might have been gifted, and then to just unsubscribe and go, I can't support this anymore because of what was quite clearly a joke. Like, that's quite the reaction. Yeah. So what you should probably do at this point is put the device down, pick up all your toys, and put them back in your pram. It's probably what you should do.
Yeah. I just think, just chill out.
Ash is like when you joked about dressing as a fire slayer.
Yeah. Big funny joke.
I was in my tunic on Friday.
I bet you were.
Yeah, tunic and on stream in my tunic and wolf pelt. Need to get my trousers and my belt.
Is that going to be your everyday clothing then?
It's quite comfortable. I'm going to be honest with you. I would like to wear it more often.
It's quite airy, isn't it?
It is quite airy, yeah. Yeah. The tunic is also big and long enough that you could just get away with no pants, Jay.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to be one of those people that wears the leather...
Greaves
Greaves to your legs, I thought.
Legs is leg wraps, isn't it, for Vikings?
Yeah.
The leg wrap, that's what they do.
But like, sometimes they have like the big baggy shirt and then they have the leather things that go around there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can start wearing them.
My gifted membership super chat didn't think it was a joke, eh? What? I don't know what. I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. We have got up to 60 members. Thank you so much. You are amazing. We love you very dearly. I was hoping people would drop their yogurt at the end there and we get 40 more. Whoop, whoop, but we didn't. But we do have a second opportunity to top it up because we do have a live game this evening at 7:30. Adam is on his way. He'll be here really, really soon so he can destroy Mexico and we can write down his lists and show you what we're playing, which is probably Chaos Space Marines versus Imperial Knights.
Yeah, I'll go down that route.
So look forward to that 7:30 tonight. Adam's joining us. Adam is of Beachhead fame. We love Adam very much. So you can show your support for evening as he takes on Joe with his Chaos Space Marines. Tomorrow we're live again at 7:30 for the Warhammer show. Thursday there's more Liam and Joe building at the table and then another live game in the evening. I think it's Paddy and you. I think I'm producing twice this week because I played twice last week. I think it's Paddy and you on Thursday and Joe will be showing off either Tyranids or Dark Angels, you said?
Yeah.
I don't know what Paddy's bringing. Then on Friday we return with After Dark at 8:30. I have something to do in the daytime, so there's no other streams this week. At the weekend on Sunday, I'm probably going to be back with some Battlefield 1 on Vag, so keep an eye out for that one, which you're welcome to join me if you can download it, install it, and we can work out how to play it on Sunday.
I'm not here this weekend.
Well, there you go. See, I try.
I'm at the Warhammer World Golden Ticket event this weekend.
I try. He's not interested, you see. Oh, have you? So it'll be like a chill stream on Sunday. If you want to come hang out for a chill stream on Sunday, !Vag, come and hang out in that channel. I don't put it on this one because it fucks the algorithm up. But anyway, you people are incredible. Thank you so much for watching, you wonderful human beings. I hope you have enjoyed the show. If you have, make sure you smash that like button before you disappear. And hopefully we will see you tonight. If not, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.